Very good morning, friends. Today I am going to discuss An Apology for Poetry by Sir Philip Sidney. As you all know that An Apology for Poetry is a very important work of literary criticism. It was written in 1580 and was posthumously published in 1595. So let's get it started. Sir Philip Sidney's An Apology for Poetry is one of the most important works of literary criticism of the Elizabethan age. The word apology does not mean that Sidney is saying sorry. It means a defense or justification. Sidney wrote the work to defend poetry against the attacks of Puritan critics, especially Stephen Gosson, who argued that poetry was immoral and harmful to society. Sidney begins by explaining the value of poetry. He says that poetry is not simply entertainment, it has the power to teach, delight, and move people. For Sidney, the best poet is one who combines pleasure with moral instruction. A poem can make people enjoy a story while also teaching them how to live a better life. Sidney considers the poet a maker. The word poet comes from the Greek word meaning to make. According to Sidney, the poet creates a new world through imagination. Nature provides the material, but the poet improves and reshapes it. Therefore, the poet is not merely a copyist of nature, he can create an ideal world that is better than ordinary reality. Sidney also discusses imitation or mimesis. Poetry imitates human life, but it does not simply copy reality. The poet selects and organizes experiences to present meaningful ideas. Sidney believes that poetry can show both what people are and what they ought to be. In this way, poetry provides moral examples. One of Sidney's most famous ideas is that poetry teaches and delights. He argues that people often do not enjoy direct moral teaching because it can seem boring or difficult. Poetry makes moral lessons attractive through stories, characters, images, and emotions. A reader may learn a valuable lesson without feeling that he or she is being taught. Sidney compares poetry with philosophy and history. Philosophy teaches moral principles, but it may be too abstract or for ordinary people. History gives examples of human actions, but historians are limited by what actually happened. Poetry, however, can combine the strengths of both. It can present moral ideas through memorable examples and can imagine what should happen according to virtue. Sidney also defends poetry against the charge that it encourages immoral behavior. He argues that poetry itself is not responsible for evil, rather, the misuse of poetry is the problem. A good poet promotes virtue, while a bad poet may encourage vice. He famously suggests that the real fault lies not in poetry but in those who misuse it. Sidney gives special importance to English poetry. He believes that English writers have the ability to produce great poetry if they use the language properly and follow good artistic principles. He also discusses different poetic forms and praises the potential of English literature. In conclusion, An Apology for Poetry is a powerful defense of poetry and the poet. Sidney presents poetry as an art that can teach, delight, and move its audience. His ideas about imagination, imitation, moral instruction, and social value of literature made him one of the founders of English literary criticism. The work remains important because it explains why poetry is not merely a source of pleasure but also a powerful means of education and moral improvement. Thank you.